Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with r/am I the a-hole, where people want to know whether they are a horrible person or not, and we help them decide. Without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Am I the a-hole for leaving my husband with all the responsibilities? My husband and I have been together since our late teens. We are now 30. Since the very beginning, my husband has been awful at what I call basic responsibilities. This means that until recently, I've been responsible for 90% of all cooking, cleaning and organizing. We don't have kids, but we do have pets, and my husband has several hobbies. Unfortunately, all my free time is spent keeping the house in order, and whilst my husband helps out more now than ever, he thinks I am too clean. I don't think so, but it is possible that I am. And since he does 1 or 2 do-it-yourself projects a year, like putting up shelves or painting the cellar, he is doing his part. He is so much better these days, but it has taken a lot of fighting to get there. So I have fully dropped the rope on all of it. I warned him last year this would happen and did not buy gifts for birthdays on his side of the family. He has forgotten 4 completely this year and had to panic buy something in the supermarket the day of a party. But now I am worried that with Christmas fast approaching, he is still not quite getting it. I have decided that if he wants me to go to 3 family gatherings over Christmas week for his side alone, I need to use the rest of my time for my degree, my job and my own side of the family. So I am not using all my free time cleaning the house anymore. I will clean a little, but I think that if he's not at work, it is his turn to do the jobs around the home. Now he invites our mutual friends around and they make comments about the state of the house, which makes me very anxious and angry with him, but he dismisses this and says he did not notice the mess or the comments. I am not about to tell them point blank that I was working all day and husband was at home, so any issues with dog hair or a full litter tray are his fault, because I don't want to embarrass him, but it stinks and makes me wonder if I am doing the right thing. I don't want people uncomfortable in my home, and honestly, it is not as clean as I would like. Also, we keep going into our overdraft because I am no longer tracking our bills. He has access to all our finances, same as I do, but he never bothers to check because he knows I will always take money out of my savings to cover if we have a tough month. Well, I have completely run out of money and he wants to go Christmas shopping. He asked me to pick out all the gifts and I just ignored him, but I haven't told him that we are broke because I feel he should check the accounts himself. Part of me wants to take the time to step back and let him see what it takes to run a household without support and finally get him to understand the issue, but I worry that if he's left in charge, then Christmas will be a crap show and then I would be the a-hole when everyone finds out it is because he does not put the effort in and I knew he would mess it up. Edit, since I'm getting a lot of questions, I thought I would clarify a few things. My husband has improved massively compared to what he used to be like, but this is something we have sat down and discussed multiple times. He has offered to ask his mother to be our cleaner, so he does not have to, and when I suggested a cleaning rota some time ago, his response was, and I quote, "That sounds like a trap, so you can find more excuses to be annoyed with me when I don't do it." Just so you understand, I work 40 hours a week, do a master's degree and clean and care for a large house with multiple pets. My daily chores begin at 6 AM and usually I will stop for a 20-minute break at lunchtime at about 6 PM for an hour whilst dinner cooks and then really settle down at about 8:30 PM. That is my life 7 days a week, and even if I am not vacuuming or cleaning the bathroom, I am washing up or collecting cups left on the floor or folding laundry or, typically at this time of year, shopping for and wrapping gifts for 25 plus people while my husband plays video games and only offers to help when the job is done or conveniently does not hear me ask for help. When he does assist, I praise him and thank him, and even if he has done something wrong, wait until at least the next day to redo it because I know it is important to encourage him, not to nag. This issue is not even solely about cleaning, because we both have large families and I don't have time to pick out, buy and wrap gifts for 25 plus people, as well as work full time and do a degree. I don't have time for hobbies or socializing anymore, and asking him to help out has not resulted in anything close to a 50-50 split. And guys, I don't know what you think about this story, but to me this does not sound like she is in a relationship with a husband, but instead with a bratty teenager. So the question for you is OP the a-hole for leaving her husband with all the responsibilities? And a user in the comments said, not the a-hole, but do not use making a point to put your family unit into financial distress. I understand your desire to show him how much you do and how much he needs to learn and change, but at some point dipping into savings and running out of money has dire consequences. Have you considered dividing up the duties? I cannot tell, but by your post it sounds like you dropped everything into his lap, and that does not sound healthy either. A good partnership means you share responsibility and each use your strength to do things for the household. Another guy said, not the a-hole, it sounds like he just doesn't have the same awareness as you. It might be good to sit him down and explain exactly how you feel, and maybe do a cleaning rota, splitting the chores so you don't feel like a maid. A calendar is good for this, write down the tasks for each day and cross them out. Update, I left my husband to deal with it all and it is working, slowly. Somewhere in my post history you will see I was unsure whether it was okay to dump the full responsibility of the household into my husband over Christmas, since he clearly did not respect me or the effort I put in to keep the house clean and feed the pets and otherwise organize absolutely everything for both him and myself. So I stepped back. As many suggested, I spoke to him about keeping an eye on the finances, and I personally checked that the pets were cared for, but only when he wasn't around, so he didn't see me helping in any way. But that is all I did. Edit, I stepped away for 3 weeks while my deadlines were at their worst. I have of course begun to take over half of the household chores and organizing again, but have deliberately scaled back how much I do so that he does not go back to his old comfort zone. And it has started to work. I came home multiple times to a cooked dinner or a freshly stocked fridge. The dogs walked and a cup of tea ready for me. As the season progressed and it became clear that I was struggling with the stress of my assignments, I am doing a master's alongside work and Christmas time is full of deadlines for both, he started fielding requests for people to come over, running me hot baths and shooing away noisy visitors who wanted to interrupt my work so that he could run the house in my stead. It is not perfect, but it is damn close. He has spent a weekend helping me clean the house from top to bottom and now helps maintain that level of cleanliness. He also went out and bought a new vacuum specifically to make the job quicker and easier so it can be done more regularly. And I come home 2 or 3 days a week to him hovering the downstairs without having to be asked. Or hoovering, I'm not sure. I don't know what did it. I know he spent a week where we were very tense and the house was in near squalor before he put his video games away and stepped up. I know he rushed around manically trying to find Christmas gifts for everyone once it became clear that I was not doing it for him and the stress was a lot for him. I know he came very close to throwing a strop on multiple occasions when it seemed that he was solely responsible for the cooking and cleaning whilst I hid in the spare room on my laptop, but he has taken a long, hard look at life without me there to pick up after him, and he started to pick up after himself. Thanks to everyone who helped me realize that I definitely needed a break. There was some good advice here and it was great to hear that I am not an a-hole. Edit, thanks to everyone who now thinks it means that I'm doing nothing at all and he's gonna leave me. Of course that's how it works. /sarcasm. Am I the a-hole for not telling my dad he's not getting the inheritance he's expecting? My mother died when I was 16, my dad married another woman 2 years later. My grandparents, my dad's parents, hate my stepmother, I really don't like her either. Even after my half-siblings were born, my grandparents never warmed up to her. My grandparents are quite wealthy, my father has been banking on this inheritance for a while, he has even been not paying into his retirement because he is so sure that he will inherit the millions. I just found out on Saturday that I am getting the majority of my grandparents' estate and my father is getting a token amount of $50,000, so he cannot dispute it. My grandparents made me promise not to give out any money after, and I intend to keep my word. But I do feel really guilty that my father just spends his money as it is coming in because he is relying on money he won't get. I also found out that my dad is in a lot of debt. Am I the a-hole for not telling him? And guys, I will redirect this question to you. Is OP the a-hole for not telling his dad that he is not getting the inheritance he is expecting? Let us know what you think in the comments. And a person in the comments said, not the a-hole, your grandparents should be honest with your dad by not telling him they are setting you up for a lot of drama after they die, and that is not fair to you. Your dad should not be spending recklessly and counting on inheritance money to come in and fix everything. That is ridiculously irresponsible, and everyone in this situation is an a-hole other than you. Another person said, not the a-hole, but you should talk to your grandparents and make sure that they tell him before they pass and while they are still in the right minds. Maybe even have an attorney present. If he is as irresponsible as you say he is, then he will likely try to sue you for money when they pass. Families have been torn apart over sums totaling much less. Please protect yourself here. And the next one is titled, Update to Am I the a-hole for not telling my dad that he's not getting the inheritance he is expecting? A lot of people have asked me for updates, so I thought that I would make one. It was kind of positive. I agreed with many comments in my first post where they said my grandparents were setting me up for drama. I talked to my grandparents and shared these concerns. They were understanding and set up a family meeting with them, their lawyer, my dad, his wife and myself. I was secretly hoping that my grandparents would get over some of their issues with my dad and his wife, but nope, my dad's wife actually started crying and wailing when they revealed that I would be getting most of the inheritance. I could see my grandmother almost exploding. My dad, to his credit, looked disappointed but said it was their money to do as they wished. The new agreement is that my father will receive $75,000 and each of my younger siblings will receive a $50,000 education fund. My dad's wife did call me a few days later and acted really foolishly, and she somehow thought that insulting my mother would help her. I told her that if she ever said something bad about my mother again, I would tell my grandparents about it, and that seems to have shut her up. My relationship with my dad was never the greatest, but I haven't really seen any further decline in the relationship. But I feel a lot of relief now, thanks everyone. And guys, as usual, money can bring out the worst in people. However, I'm glad that this story ended pretty peacefully. And if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you so much in advance. And the last one is titled, Am I the a-hole? Parents bought younger sister with serious issues a $25,000 car for Christmas while all I got was a phone case. Been needing a car for a couple years. Parents promised one but gave her one instead. In my family there are 2 kids, sister and I, and my parents. Christmas was coming up and I've been wanting a car for about a year now because I've recently gotten my green piece, Australian thing that you can get when you are older than 18. My parents have mentioned in the past the idea of me paying for half and they will cover the other half of a car under total 10,000 Australian dollars. I can afford this as I have saved most of my money from the 2 jobs I've kept since I was 14, so no biggie. I've also been relying on my mom to drive me to work for the last 4 years, so it was a smart move on their end rather than driving me the 30 minutes each way every shift I got. My sister has just turned 17, which is when you can get your red piece in Australia. She's never had a job and has no money saved whatsoever. So guys, I'm kinda confused here. These green and red piece, is that something like a driving license or something? If there's any Australian person in the comments, please explain to us. Either way, I love her a lot, but she has made some questionable decisions towards her future lately, but that is a separate story. My parents have not seemed to care as much as they probably should have about these things and are acting like everything is normal and all good. With Christmas coming up at the time and my birthday in early January, I thought this might be the time my parents get me that car that I have wanted for the last year, as they have mentioned this idea for the last couple months. I am obviously excited the week leading up to Christmas, wondering what type of car they have bought or what they are looking at. I wake up Christmas Day around 10 AM to the sound of my younger sister crying, but in a happy way. I am excited for her, as she's obviously gotten something she has wanted. I walk downstairs and no one is at the Christmas tree, but a present with my name is sitting there. I figure I will come back to it after I find my parents. I check the front door and it is wide open, walk out to the driveway to see a brand new blue Hyundai i30 sitting in the driveway with a big ribbon on the front, around 25k, and my sister is at the side of it crying with my parents' arms around her. I ask who it is for and my parents tell me her. I probably could have handled this better, but I stormed back into the house, closed my door and stayed in there for the rest of the day. Didn't go with my family to see everyone else for Christmas because of how annoyed I was. My parents asked me why I did that when they got home, so I asked them why they bought her a car before me, who is older, willing to pay half, had a job, goes to school and has a stable plan for the future. They don't have an answer to that one, so they just stay quiet, and after a couple of minutes of awkward silence, they walk out. By this point, I had forgotten about the present they left under the tree downstairs, so I walk down to open it, and it is a new phone case from eBay, something I had no use for. I cannot get over what they have done. Am I the a-hole here? So guys, what is your opinion about this? Is OP the a-hole even though his parents bought the younger sister, who had serious issues, a $25,000 car, while he, who essentially got his life sorted out and is very hardworking, got literally nothing? Let us know what you think in the comments. And a person in the comments said, some people are going to comment based on the fact that a new car is not a gift a teenager should expect, but that is not the issue here. The issue is that your parents showed considerable favoritism towards your sister and you don't know why, and they won't tell you why. That is naturally very upsetting. Your reaction is totally understandable, so understandable that the fact that they ask you why you were upset seems a bit strange. Not the a-hole. And another guy said, not the a-hole, your parents get the max asshole rating, you get maybe 1/5, very little, but not because you hurt them, rather because you ruined your own Christmas by reacting that way. Don't get me wrong, I would be absolutely livid if this happened to me, like what the F parents, that is a seriously bad move from every point of view. Clear favoritism, awful parenting. If you were planning on paying half, it is also a horrible financial decision for them. You said your sister made questionable decisions for her future and they support that rather than your stable future, as you said, and that is another horrible parenting mistake. What kind of message does this send to your sister?
Oh, people have to work their butt off their entire life, but mommy and daddy will make sure I'm happy.
Update to the sister car story. So, my birthday was 11th of January, my parents were seeming nicer than usual the entire week beforehand, which might have been because they had time off work or they had a surprise. The outcome was somewhere in the middle of what I was expecting though. On my birthday, they told me that they were sorry for buying my sister a car for Christmas when I deserved one and really needed it more than her. So they told me that they had given me $10,000 to be able to afford something that I would really like and enjoy taking care of, and also to drive to and from work, to school/uni and everything else. The outcome could not have really been much better than this one, especially since they originally said they would help with $5,000 towards the car I want, so I am pretty happy with it. Not gonna complain anymore about the situation, I just hope they stop the favoritism and obvious extra love and support they give to my sister all the time. And guys, I am curious, what was your first car that you have ever gotten? Did your parents pay for it or did you buy it yourself? And also I am very curious, do you usually pay for your cars in cash or do you finance them? You know, recently I've been listening to a lot of Dave Ramsey on YouTube, which I actually find really interesting because it kind of reminds me of legal advice, because there are a lot of insane situations mentioned there. However, what I find really fascinating is He always recommends people to buy almost everything in cash, except maybe a house. So, have you ever bought a new car in cash? I think it is a good decision, but it can be difficult to realize for some people. Either way, unfortunately, we have reached the end of the video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/ripeyoutube for more exclusive Reddit content. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again tomorrow.